know, they are creating a new world. So that's one thing that I would say. I do think, though, that especially in America, there's a real lack of sacred structure for them to access. So the next thing I would say is let them see you doing your emotional work with integrity. They need to see what it looks like to see anger modeled correctly. They need to see what it looks like to see grief is okay. I will tell you a really quick story. I was doing some rage work one day for over an 8-hour period in my condominium, and I was just furious because I was having a fight with this woman I was working for. And I couldn't figure out what was going on, but I knew I had to have something to do with it, but I just couldn't get past the fact that I was so angry with her. So I just kept doing rage work, and I finally had my aha moment in the middle of the night, made a change. Came home the next day, and there was my downstairs neighbor was a school teacher at an inner city school. And she was sitting, and I said, "Oh, I'm so glad you weren't home yesterday because I was wailing the crap out of my rage doll." And she said, "Well, actually, I wasn't." I was kind of wondering what's going on up there. So I explained it to her, and I gave her a rage doll because I knew that she really struggled in this inner city school. They didn't have a lot of resources. She had really, and she said to me, a month later I came home, she was on the front steps crying. She said, "I have to tell you what happened." I took that rage doll. I gave her the rage doll for her because I knew how frustrated she was as a teacher. She took it to school, to her grade school class, who was the most disruptive class in the entire school. She showed them how to do rage work, and she set aside 5 minutes at the beginning of each class every day, or the beginning of the class every day, for kids who felt that they wanted to express their anger. They had now a sacred space and permission. And she went from being the most disruptive class in the school to the best behaved class in 30 days. And she was crying as she shared this story with me. So it's really important that we model whatever it is we want them to see, and then we just trust that they will get what they need. Does that answer the question? Thank you, and thank you for carrying it and for doing something. Thank you. Yes?
I have a question about something that
Yes.
you did allude to, which is some of the political crap that's happening. I don't know if most Americans are aware of that that's going on there. They may now make millionaire contributions to things that don't even have real lives. And this changes, makes America a democracy rather than a democracy. So how can you not get angry about that without feeding into that? You can just sit there and say everything is hunky dory, and it's obviously not hunky dory, and this is the opposite of shit. Going backwards. So how do you do something about this without feeding into the negativity?
Great question. Did everybody hear that question? Yeah. Okay. First thing I'll say, that is a victim reality. We do not have to live there. We do not have to live in a victim reality. Seriously, how many of us are directly impacted on a day-to-day basis by what is going on in Washington? And I know there's a fear that it's going to be more than it is today, but right now, today, most of us are living pretty magical and amazing lives that we've created. The second thing is, create a new environment. That environment's dying. What we are watching is we're watching the death throes of a victim structure. That's what it looks like. They are trying everything they can do to convince you that you don't have any power and you can't make change. And all you have to do is make everything in your life sacred, and you are safe. The thing that is different about a creator reality and a victim reality is a victim reality cannot get into a creative reality on a victim vibration. It can only come into a creator reality on a creator vibration. Yes?
But how can you not feel victimized when your labor laws and your work laws and your representatives are meaningless?
They're not the boss of me. They're not the boss of me. I create my life. I create my life every single day, and when it's not working, I change it. And the thing is, trust me, I get furious when I read some of those headlines. I have a rage doll in my office for that very reason. And sometimes I just have to pick it up and start wailing on it and scream at the top of my lungs. But what will always happen is as soon as I'm done with that, I'm laughing. Because I go right to Joy, and Joy goes, "Yeah, aren't they silly? Okay, what can you do that's, you light a candle or do something." And the other thing is, once I go to that place where I'm not angry anymore and I'm in compassion gives me a bird's eye view and says, we're all on the same path. It's just that, and I can tell you from being in the film community, I had the personal experience of becoming a tyrant because I was given too much power. People turned their power over me because they were afraid that if they made me angry, I wouldn't hire them anymore. And so I got to have every question I ever asked, I had to live the answer. And some of them I didn't like, some of the answers I didn't like when I found out about myself. And I found out that I have, and we all have every potential to be exactly like the people that we're hating. We all have the potential. It's how we express it. It's how we express it that puts us either into a victim reality. And the thing about living in a victim reality is you are either a victim or a victimizer. Those are the only two choices. Who wants to live there? We're done. We're done. It's like, wear yourselves out, you know, fighting and battling and doing all that stuff. In the meantime, the infrastructure for a new world is in place. We've been building it since the 60s. If the whole thing falls down tomorrow, we're already there. We're already coming together in circles. We're already coming together. We're already helping each other. We're already growing food. We're already letting go of what doesn't matter. So it's already happening, and you can trust yourself. Trust yourself. You're right where you need to be right now. You're doing exactly the right thing. You have all the tools that you need. And just enjoy your life. You have created the most amazing paradise for yourself. Enjoy it. Play. Invite people over to play with you. Share your temples. My girlfriends, when I lived in Mexico, I met people from all over the world. And one day we were sitting around and we decided that we had temples all over the world that were owned by people we knew. So we now have this temple, we have a temple activation program, we call it, where we go visit each other in different countries. And people come to your temple and they stay with you, and you show them around your environment, and you show them what's there to do and how cool it is where you live and what your temple looks like. And we just share each other's space and appreciate how you activate a temple is through appreciation. So we come in and we go, oh, look at this, and look at this, oh, and it feels so good in here, and oh, look, we're right in the water, and let's go on a boat. And, you know, every one of us has a temple that we can share with other people. And that is what joy is all about.
So is that what we're doing that by actually having you doing all these things that somehow these people who are doing all this control and whatever is going to walk away from something silly as you are?
It's 2012. There's a singularity that's supposed to happen on December 21st, which in my understanding is a black hole that you pass through. And what I am really, really convinced is the emotional environment that you are living in December will determine what future reality will be on the other side of the singularity. Because every reality is right here, right now. So where do you want to be? Where do you want to be in January? That's the emotional environment to put yourself into. Okay? One more question, then we're done.
Going back to his question about politics in Washington and everything, what is the difference between, you know, just kind of letting your rage go and then also not being passive about it? So if you want to make change and you want to, you know, make things better, but not sort of feeding into that and becoming angry, what is the positive way to do that? So that
Well, first of all, when you do rage work, you're not letting your anger go, you're transforming it to a greater reality. So anger, when you're angry, you're always in a victim place. You're in a victim structure. When you do the rage work, when you are complete with your anger, you will find yourself in creative reality, which means this has no power over you. And only from a creative reality can we really build structures of change on us. We cannot build victim structures. There's not going to be any change. We'll just keep repeating the same. That's what in history, every conquering, you know, race or every revolution that's happened, they simply go back to the same tired old victim structures. A creative reality says everything that happens to you in your life, you have responsibility for it. Every single experience. And that's what's driven me all these years, is trying to figure out why you create some of the crap that I have created in my life. setting up a gravitational field to keep pulling experiences to me to say, see, can you see the pattern? Can you see the pattern? What's the belief? Change the belief and then the pattern will go away. So do your rage work, and the rage work, when it transforms you to a creative reality, the warrior will tell you immediately what the next thing you do. The warrior is about right action with honor. Right action with honor. You don't get it until you've made the transition, you see what I'm saying? So it's really hard for me to predict how it will look for anybody. I can only tell you what it's looked like for me, but it's been very profound for me. Anger is a friend. And it's kept me safe. I drove to Mexico 5 times all the way to the Caribbean Sea, 5 times by myself and back. And people said, weren't you afraid? And I said, no, because I have a lot of personal power and magic follows me. Every experience I had in Mexico was magical. But I did a lot of rage work before I did that. Okay, you've been a fantastic audience. I hope that this has been helpful. Please feel free to go on my website. There's tons of information on there. Send me an email if you have another question. I really, really appreciate you coming out today to speak, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.